Welcome to Little English Studio, where we explore the lives of history's most influential figures. In today's episode, we journey through the incredible life of Napoleon Bonaparte, a man whose ambition, intelligence, and military genius reshaped Europe and left an enduring mark on the world. Get ready for a fascinating 15 to 20-minute story filled with battles, politics, romance, rise and fall, and lessons that still resonate today. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15, 1769, in Ajaccio, Corsica. At the time, Corsica had just been transferred from Genoese to French control, and Napoleon's family was part of the Corsican nobility. His father, Carlo Bonaparte, was a lawyer who gained favor with the French rulers, enabling Napoleon to receive a formal education in France. Even as a child, Napoleon showed signs of brilliance. He was excellent in mathematics, history, and military strategy, but struggled with the French language and social interactions with the French aristocracy. He attended military schools at Brienne and later at the prestigious École Militaire in Paris. At just 16 years old, Napoleon graduated and became a second lieutenant in the French army. He was ambitious, and he dreamt of glory and power, not just for himself, but for a better France. The French Revolution in 1789 created a power vacuum and chaos throughout the country. But for Napoleon, it was an opportunity. Amid the political instability, he aligned himself with the radical revolutionaries, and began to rise in military ranks. His first major success came in 1793 at the Siege of Toulon, where he successfully led French forces to recapture the city from Royalist and British control. His strategic brilliance caught the attention of powerful leaders in 1795. During a Royalist uprising in Paris, Napoleon used artillery to crush the rebellion. His bold actions earned him national fame and a promotion. Soon after, he was given command of the French army of Italy. At just 27, Napoleon led the army of Italy in a stunning campaign. His charisma inspired loyalty from his troops, and his unconventional tactics led to a series of victories against Austria and its allies. He transformed a poorly equipped army into a powerful force. This campaign made him a national hero. He looted artworks, imposed peace treaties, and began to shape Europe according to his vision. But his ambition didn't stop there. Ambitions in 1798, Napoleon launched a military expedition to Egypt, aiming to disrupt British trade routes and expand French influence. Though he won the Battle of the Pyramids, his fleet was destroyed by the British under Admiral Nelson at the Battle of the Nile. Though the campaign was strategically a failure, Napoleon returned to France a hero, carefully curating his public image. In 1799, with France in political turmoil, Napoleon seized the opportunity. He overthrew the weak Directory in a coup d'état and established the consulate, becoming first consul. This marked his first step toward autocratic rule. As first consul, Napoleon brought stability to post-revolutionary France. He implemented wide-ranging reforms, the Napoleonic Code, a civil legal system that influenced law across Europe and beyond. Education reforms, He created Toriku Esu secondary schools to train administrators and officers. Economic reforms. He stabilized the currency and established the Bank of France, concordat with the Church. He restored relations with the Catholic Church while maintaining state authority. His governance was efficient, centralized, and often authoritarian, but it brought order after years of chaos. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French in a grand ceremony at Notre Dame Cathedral. This move shocked many, especially those who fought for the Republic, but it also reflected Napoleon's belief in his destiny. He claimed, "I found the crown of France lying on the ground, and I picked it up with my sword." As emperor, Napoleon set out to build an empire that rivaled Rome. He waged wars across Europe, challenging coalitions formed by Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia. From 1805 to 1812, Napoleon led France into a series of wars now known as the Napoleonic Wars. Key highlights include Battle of Austria 1805, one of his greatest victories, defeating the Russian and Austrian armies, Confederation of the Rhine, reshaped German territories under French influence, continental system, an economic blockade against Britain that ultimately failed, Peninsular War, guerrilla warfare in Spain, and Portugal sapped French strength. Napoleon's military tactics were revolutionary, using speed, deception, and concentrated force, but constant warfare also exhausted resources and created enemies across the continent. In 1812, Napoleon made his fateful decision to invade Russia. He led an army of over 600,000 men, known as the Grand Army. But the campaign was a disaster. Russian forces retreated and used scorched earth tactics. Napoleon reached Moscow only to find it abandoned and burned, without supplies and facing a brutal winter. His army suffered catastrophic losses. Only around 100,000 men returned. This marked the beginning of Napoleon's downfall. His weakened forces were defeated by the Sixth Coalition, and in 1814, Paris was captured. Napoleon abdicated and was exiled to Elba. In 1815, Napoleon escaped Elba and returned to France in a dramatic comeback. Crowds welcomed him, and he regained power for a brief period known as the 100 Days. But his enemies united once again at the Battle of Waterloo on June 18, 1815. British and Prussian forces decisively defeated him. This marked the end of his reign. He was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, where he died in 1821. Napoleon remains one of the most studied and controversial figures in history. His legacy includes legal influence. The Napoleonic Code became a foundation for modern law, modern state. He restructured France into a centralized meritocratic nation. Military genius. His tactics are still taught in military academies. Myth and legend. He became a symbol of ambition and leadership, both admired and feared. Despite his authoritarian rule and wars, Napoleon inspired generations with his brilliance and determination. Lessons from Napoleon. Ambition must be balanced with wisdom. Genius alone is not enough. Humility and adaptability matter. Charisma can win loyalty, but strategy sustains power. Every rise may face a fall. Know when to stop. His story teaches us the power of vision, the danger of overreach, and the complexity of human leadership. Thank you for watching Little English Studio. Napoleon Bonaparte was more than a conqueror. He was a builder, a reformer, a strategist, and a flawed human being. His story is filled with drama, triumph, loss, and lasting influence. What part of his journey inspired you most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of remarkable lives.